Hi, I'm Cassandra. I'm in medicine in the UK, and I decided to make a program that had a practical application, especially during COVID. In physiology, we usually keep a very tight acid-base balance within our blood, and we usually do that through our lungs and our kidneys. In order for us to really understand what's going on with our patients, we often take an ABG or arterial blood gas, and I've written a program that helps us to interpret the results and give us some differential diagnoses. To show you the program, I love a good patient case, so let's take John, who's got acute respiratory distress syndrome, which is a complication of COVID. He's in the intensive care unit, and we usually take a serial arterial blood gas to see what the acid-base balance is doing. So it's very early on in his illness, and he's usually blowing off quite a lot of carbon dioxide at this point, not getting much oxygen in. So we do our first ABG, and these are the results we get. So we'll get a pH, and an oxygen, and a CO2 reading, and also a bicarb. And it tells us that the patient is hypoxemic, they've got primary respiratory alkalosis, and gives us some reasons why that might be. So here for this particular patient, he's got pulmonary disease, so that makes sense. We also might want to know the alveolar arterial gradient. This tells us what the cause of the hypoxemia might be. So we want to know that. So he's got a high gradient, and his hypoxemia might be due to an alveolar capillary wall issue like pneumonia, which makes sense for this patient. So he continues in ICU, and he isn't intubated because I'm a bad doctor. I don't call for senior help, and he gets tired. So he stops blowing off his carbon dioxide, and we do another ABG and see what he gets. So at this point, he's now converted into a primary respiratory acidosis. At this point, the patient's becoming more hypoxic, which means less oxygen is getting to the tissues and to the organs. So the cells start to die and they release all kinds of nasties into the blood. So do another ABG. We know he's got a respiratory acidosis, but also now he's added on a metabolic acidosis and they coexist. In metabolic acidosis, you might also want to know the anion gap to narrow down the differential diagnosis. We'll say yes. There, his NA is 145, 96. And he's got a high anion gap, so it might be from any of these causes, but specifically lactic acid would make sense in this. So that's the little program I've created. I really appreciate everything you guys have done for us over the past couple of weeks. It's been amazing, so thank you.